There are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
What's up and welcome,
Hey.
welcome. Can you hear me? Wait,
I can hear you great.
Good. I'm
You
good.
sound amazing.
You always sound amazing.
Hi.
I was just trying to get the welcome to Gospel Rhythms Talk Live Radio
That sounded pretty good. I like
on
that.
LATalkLive.com.
Let's sing, girl. Come on. Said, bring it in. I said, your own gospel rhythms with me and roll. I said, we are gonna have a good time. I don't know how to rap it yet, but I'm just gonna play like I do.
Why you trying to just get all up in my spirit?
You're
grind?
singing
You
and
know what
I'm
saying? Do I
rapping.
come to your set
We gotta
and
put-
knock
thank
over your
you.
script?
Thank you,
And,
Richard.
you hear me? He drowning me out. He drowning
my
my
audience.
haterade out. I was pouring on there. I was like, do I come to your set and knock over your scripts and just start
Right.
acting
Okay,
up?
I'll stick to the singing. You stick to the rapping.
No, I'm just
MC
messing
row.
with you, girl. As always,
Hi.
it's wonderful to see you and to be here. When I can catch up with you. You're not on a boat or a plane or a train this week. You happen to be in the land of La La.
I'm
So
here.
welcome. Hey.
Thank you. And welcome to Gospel Rhythms, everybody.
Life edition.
That's right. It's going to be great. And, I'm all about testimonies. I'm like Queen Testimony, even writing a book about testimonies right now.
And her partner in crime was here. Christ, partner in Christ. Let me get it right.
Yes.
And sharing his gift with Vince Walker. That will be the illustrious Mr. Anthony Tony Grant.
Tony Green.
And
my
he's on
hubby.
the encouragement tip with his latest album project. So if you missed that,
Yeah, you guys watch the last few shows actually and see Tony Grant do his thing. He sang and he and Vince Walker actually did sing together. And they've got so many wonderful inspirational songs and social awareness songs too, dealing with what's happening out there
So that's the album.
in this world.
Grant
Grant Life and
he's
wait,
gonna
no, girl, he got so many. Oh Lord.
But the
We're gonna-
social awareness topic
Yeah,
laced
Grant Life.
project will be coming to you soon. Where can they pick up the song that he opened up with?
Actually, CD Baby and
What's the name of it?
Let me see. Wait a minute. I'm trying to remember.
You having a white brain
because I know
fart?
they sang
Encourage
Storm
yourself?
together, and then he did Yesterday. Yesterday is the one he just released last
And
week.
that's what he
So you
ministered.
guys go check. Thank
I
you.
hate to
Richard
say
is on
perform.
it. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, we
He
have some senior
ministered.
moments up here. What's my name again?
Right. and he has such. I know I'm having a senior moment. Look, I've had a senior moment all day.
And you
long.
study scripts. I'm like,
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
You have a senior
Yeah.
moment up there getting ready
And-
to go before the
right.
masses.
And I'm rehearsing right now for Pachanda Dubos's Ferguson. And it's filled with lots of wonderful actors in there. If I start naming them, I'm, not going to be able to mention everybody. But, and I don't want to do
You just
that.
came from
And
rehearsal.
I just came from rehearsal, and I'm really having some senior moments. But
Shout
it's a great
outs.
cast of guys, and they're
Peachy
in the
Peach.
courtroom, and I'm the reporter. And there's a twist that the reporter does.
But they'll be here to
So,
just talk about that
everybody will
project.
see that.
But
They will.
congratulations
They
to all the Americans that competed in Rio. A closing
Wow.
ceremony weekend,
You
I believe,
watched
is
it
upon us.
all?
Not all, and thank goodness for social media because you can catch all the
Yeah.
highlights that you miss
I have been
because
so busy.
you're at work and not actually able to watch it.
Oh, and so
But-
what happened? Tell me some highlights.
I
Good
mean,
stuff.
the girls basketball team won.
Yay.
Awesome. I mean, it was a year of black girls rocking it out. Okay, I'm
All
telling you. And the
right.
swim
I
in
love
the,
it.
in the gymnastic area of gymnastics. I saw where our basketball players actually got the gold. This is their third year in a row, and the
Yeah.
ladies basketball 6th year in a row. Then we had a sister that did the shot put. And
Okay, I
and
missed
it's so
that.
funny because a lot of the topics we were talking about how hair is such a recession-proof industry for us women of color because the rent might not get paid, but we're gonna make sure our hair is done.
Ooh,
However, they kind of
It's falling
went in on a
out.
couple of our sisters that were competing because of their hair, and it's like, dude, I'm working out here, having my hair lied, dyed, and fried and laid to the side is like the last thing, and so I think we should need to love on each other more. And
heard about
when
that.
it's obvious, it's like, hello, why are you
Yeah.
worrying about these poor teenagers' edges and their hair not being laid down with something to?
Especially when they're
Yeah.
winning medals. It's like, really? they're out there working hard. Let's see you get in the pool and stay in the pool all day, or swim and go through the elements with the bleach in
That's
the
not
water.
really on the list of
Come
priorities.
on.
And then Beyonce's daughter, there was a time where she just kind of wanted the girl's hair to be kind of natural and fancy free, not a
Right.
neatly picked fro, but one that just had helmet hair like fro. But that's her child, that's her prerogative, that's her choice, and she still looked cute. It wasn't like,
Which is adorable.
yeah.
We,
So
we we focus on the wrong things, man. There's people out there getting shot and killed in the street for unreasonable situations, and
and
we're worrying about somebody's doggone hair.
and society already has the system designed to hate on us. Why do we have to add insult to injury by just adding additional insults? Because, for instance, Ryan Lochte, Liar Lochte, who went down there and kind of embarrassed us actually by claiming that he and his swimmer comrades, were robbed at gunpoint and all this. And really, it was his bad behavior that got him pulled out, and they had everything on video. And so here, they're lashing out at poor a teenager because she didn't put her hand over her heart, Gabby Douglas, the gymnast. And they're saying, the media and majority of America, as they're reporting the Ryan Lochte incidents, they're not reprimanding him. They're saying, oh, well, he was just, kids will be kids. He's 32 years old. 32 years old. Okay. He's not a teenager, and he definitely is not a kid.
Agreed. Now let's back up to the hand over the heart, because I didn't hear about this situation.
Yeah.
Is this the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah. They got a
to?
picture of her with the Fabulous Five, and everyone else is doing this, and she was just standing at attention. Now, you brought her to tears. She didn't mean anything disrespectful by it. She was thought standing at attention would be just as respectful. Probably didn't even notice the whole hand over the heart issue, but they kind of went in on her on social media and in the press, and it's just like, you guys really need to quit. And I mean, so congratulations to you beautiful women, and all the and even those who are not representing the United States, because I do love me some Usain Bolt, honey, and he was working it for Jamaica. And one thing I loved about him is that, and I hope he put the ad up. He was like, if you want me to be featured in your ad, bring your cameras and your equipment to Jamaica, because my people need work. Isn't that bad? That is nice.
That.
He was like, hey, let's get us some love. That's what
Time
I'm
to go
saying.
to
Bring your,
Jamaica.
So I was just thinking that, just reading that. He was like, my people need work. And that's, I wish more industry-minded people would think that way. I'm not trying to act, but it would be nice if he's like, my people need work, not just your homies, your friends, and your people that you feel you could ride or die and trust with, but also just across the board, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in the financial industry, which, thank God, we have someone in-house today that when we come back from commercial, will be, going to bring some knowledge, so hopefully he can bring some folks.
Yeah, he has an amazing testimony too of something
Yes,
that happened
he
to him
does.
years back, that he survived and can tell the story. So you guys really do want to hear this.
Yeah,
So
and still
stick
find
around.
purpose in spite
Oh,
of whatever
man.
has happened.
And he still has lots of purpose. So
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll be back in 2 and 2.
Yeah, so this is your call to action. Tweet, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't know what else is there. There's like so many ways.
And say, hey, what
Yell
you
out the
doing?
window.
You're not watching Gospel Rhythms with Trisha and Bro? What?
Let them
Yes.
tap in on your internet. LA Talk Live, AmericaTalkLive.com. I'm
Yes.
Ro Williams.
I'm Trisha Mann Grant.
We'll be back.
Right back.
Can't you see what's going on? Through it all, gospel rhythm still going strong. Trusting God when it's good or when it's going wrong. Encourage other believers to keep holding on. Casting the vision and we making it plain. We the head, not the tail, so we won't complain. Here to lift up the downcast and the brokenhearted. Changing lives with the truth, so let's get it started. We got the word.
Hi, this is Kenny Lattimore, and you're tuned into GospelRhythms.com. Heaven's Party here on earth.
Yo, this your boy Marvin Sapp, and you're watching GospelRhythms.com. Heaven's Party right here on earth.
But God's in it, you don't gotta chase dreams. You need to check us out and see what we mean.
Hi, I'm Lady Jones, and I'm a certified relationship and divorce coach.
And I'm Debbie Carlin Boyle, and I'm a certified personal trainer, fitness, and wellness coach. Join us every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, for our new show, Del and Debbie's Mind, Body, Soul, and Everything in Between.
And we mean everything.
Join the conversation on things such as living a happy, healthy, joyous life,
Reinvention after divorce, parenting challenges, dating issues.
thrive with beauty and grace, And yes, we're even gonna talk sex.
Starting September, join us Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Pacific, for Del and Debbie's Mind, Body, Soul, and become part of the discussion exclusively on latalklive.com.
You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B and now live on Facebook, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Gospel rhythm still going strong. Trusting God when it's good or when it's going wrong. Encourage other believers to keep holding on. Casting the vision and we making it plain. We the head, not the tail, so we won't
All right,
complain.
we're back with Gospel Rhythms. I'm Trisha Mann Grant.
I'm Ro Williams. This is our Life Edition. Welcome. Wow, what can we say about this next guest? I know he has a luscious Bible, and we'll get into that, but I have known him for quite a bit of years. He worked behind the scenes in the film and television industry. And as a toddler, when I was doing baby diaper commercials, our lives crossed paths, and we've been somewhat inseparable ever since.
Did you say as a toddler?
That's my story, and I'm sticking to her
toy.
I'm about to
She
blow
gonna
up.
Tick to that toy.
I'm gonna tick to that story. I think that might have been a line in the commercial. But
And
No, but
he's sitting
seriously,
over here cringing.
but seriously, you know how in this business, like, you meet people, and in time, you know, there's like this big chunk of time, and you haven't talked to them for years.
Yeah.
But then when you reconnect, it's like it never.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
So we do
wonderful.
have a special connection. We actually ordered the film project off of Amazon that we worked on, because unlike Trisha, like, I don't go to screenings. I've never even seen the film. I had a blast working on it. It was on. I don't even know if it made it to BT, but and we have a couple of film projects we worked on, and so yes.
Did she have the lines? Look, here come the sheriff.
Did
Was
I
that-
had a
was that
lines,
her
man?
part?
I made up some good ones.
Oh, you were improving too?
Let's just say I had
She
one
acts
line
up
that
every
said
Sunday.
situation, but I remixed it
To
to
situation. I had that feeling.
beep situation.
Oh Lord! And you just had to
But it
tell
worked for the
everybody.
moment. It's film, and actually, it was originally called His and Hers. It was a film by Jeremy Gray, who's my another one of my crazy. We don't talk for years, but we get together and we talk, and it's like time has never flown by. But it's funny because it has, and you're like, what? You're married with 2 kids? Really? And your professor is like, wow, time really has life has forget time, life has flown by. But it was about being shacked up. I wasn't shacked up. I was the friend, so I wasn't out there doing
friend
no
of the
crazy.
shacky.
You
Did
never
she
know.
inspire the shacky or the shacker?
I'm the one who found the roommate. And then it
Ah.
went downhill wrong, but most times when you get out of God's will, and you start doing things trying to help God out, oh, you can't pay the bills, let me help you out,
I want to see this.
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
see you do your acting thing.
I want you too, because I was
You
you
got
was reminding me of
skills,
something.
girl.
So anyway, welcome, Jason. You are officially on, so you don't have to be late
Yeah,
in
we
the
can
cut.
see you. You
They
don't
can
have to
see
be
you,
quiet. Just
so-
get close to that
yeah,
microphone
yeah.
when you talk.
But
But let
we-
us introduce you. We're going to do our little Trisha and Rowe thing, okay? It has to be special.
So I know that you are, if you're not aware, Tricia has a project called Amazing Testimonies. So we want you to get to know who Jason is, because there was a journey. Or you want to do it the other way? You want to talk about?
I want to first start. Let's intro him, and then I will.
Okay,
get
all right.
into
We'll
the
just gonna let her do her
testimony
thing. So
of what he went
everybody
through.
has a story, but we're gonna take you to where he is on this day. All right, Jason Timmons. Who is he? Actually, Jason Christopher. I go there. Haha, about Jason. He creates patterns of abundance using prosperous strategies for freeing and prosperous living. So families have no worries about bills, college education, long-term care, or retirement. Now, right there, you might want to start tweeting, Instagramming, Facebooking, for real, a whole bunch of people, because if there's one thing we all could use more of, is some good direction, solid direction.
Financially.
Yeah, financially.
Indeed. That is great. Here we go. Oh, you just kind of threw me out over there.
Well, I
All
was
right.
transitioning.
So Jason,
That was called transition.
Jason sheds light on those concerns most common amongst parents, especially the assessing of a child's aptitudes and interests toward determining more precise career paths and finding grants and scholarships. Now more than ever before, parents must take time to strategically organize and implement effective financial preparation. It's not just the free money we're after. Rather, it's what life we think the money will provide. Amen. During and after college. College preparation is no longer a dream. We must prioritize it.
And I would probably like to add before we officially introduce him that I'm sure for those of you like, well, I don't have no kids in college. Matter of fact, I don't have any kids. I mean, if it's one thing we all could use is enlightenment and education and how to take hold of some tools that will help you live effectively. Because one thing's certain and two things short, we're all gonna get old if something don't happen and take you out before you get old. I'm talking to them. I'm talking to them, not us. Because good black never crack.
We're gonna be seasoned.
We still in our we still in our 20s, teens. Yeah, that's what we at. But for y'all, long-term care may be on the horizon. It's better to be prepared. Mama used to say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So recognize. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Jason J. Christopher. Welcome to the clubhouse, baby.
All right, so wait a minute. I'm looking at Timmons, and you changed your name to Christopher.
Well, he's just gonna go by that.
That's
you
go by name. Okay.
I already knew that.
Okay, so go ahead, Jason. Please, yeah.
That's my license name.
Okay.
And so. But generally, I'm going to move that legally to my first and middle.
You still going to need to get closer.
I'm going to still move that to my first and middle initial in time.
Okay, I'm going to help you.
Right now, as a licensed agent, I am Jason Timmons.
You can hold it if it make you more comfortable,
All right, cool. Yeah, Thank you. Thanks for the invitation, ladies. I really appreciate it. It's a blessing to receive it from two beautiful women, if you don't mind me saying
so.
Oh,
you're welcome. Checks in the mail.
We appreciate you being here. Right.
Thank you very much.
Check is in the mail, Jason.
Yeah.
All right.
And I get tickled because you always think where we're at is where a person's always going to be, but Madonna wasn't the only person you have to continuously reinvent herself in her artistry and other industry people. Just in life, you may have found yourself doing one thing at the first quarter of your life, and the second quarter something else, and third quarter, or you got to find ways to, as you might say later, find other streams of income so that you can have a full and prosperous life.
Mm-hmm. I was just telling someone earlier that I remember running into a friend of mine and years ago, and I think I was complaining and I was talking about things that weren't really happening in my life. And he said, Trisha, a few years back, you were in the same place.
He said that?
He sure did. And you know what? I appreciated it. It hit me. It was like, bam, it was like a blow. But after I walked away and really thought about it, because he wasn't trying to attack me. What he was saying was, because he did say, he says, so when I see you next time, I don't want to see you in the same place. So it's up to you, basically.
Absolutely.
And the choices that we make, we can sit and complain or we can do like you and do something about it. So tell me, what inspired you to, before we get into your testimony, what inspired you to get into financing and helping people and going into colleges?
It's actually my testimony that did inspire me to seek out financial education and really rebuild my life. Mm-hmm. I had a near fatal auto accident back in July of 1993. Mm-hmm. I fell asleep behind the wheel, and at that time I was studying to become I was in film. And at that time, I was studying to become a cinematographer. And I was taking film at Cal State LA. Graduated there in 2000 with my degree in broadcasting and film and communications. Mm-hmm. I had an accident on the way up to Northern California in July of '93. Fell asleep behind the wheel. 2 days later, I woke up in a hospital in Modesto County with my mother staring atop of me with a look on her face as though she received a midnight phone call. I had no idea where I was, what had happened to me. I had learned that my car had flipped over 3 times and that I had broken my left leg in 2 places. And basically after about 8 consecutive days of tissue removal and surgeries, the doctors had left me with only 2 options, either lose my leg or lose my life. So now the decision might have been easy for some of the listeners out there. Might say, well, that's easy, choose life, of course. But yet for me, that decision wasn't that simple. Mm-hmm. I was playing basketball collegiately at that time. I also was aspiring to do films. And so and the bottom line was I couldn't imagine seeing my life not having both legs. Mm-hmm. So I opted to actually just lose my life. And then, by that reckoning, then my mother had called to have the room exclusive to ourselves, and my mother and I had a private conversation. And it was at that time that I realized that you never know how much your existence really matters. And so having a mother's love, that cared and loved me for what was best for me as a young child is the same love that cared and wanted what was best for me now.
Sure.
And from that. And
You're
from
about to
that,
make me cry. I mean, that
that is
is
true.
just what you just said. Like, you never know how important your existence is to the love of someone who really loves and cares about you. So that's a message to somebody right now. That's a message to myself.
Very much
Go
so.
ahead.
Very much so.
I should have had some tissue.
That's
And-
a message to everybody out there. Don't give up.
And I have to also address my younger sister as well, because you never know about how much your life's decisions, the effect it would have on others.
Sure.
And my
Right.
younger sister really and I, we have a real tight bond, especially being, and it's not just our 9 years being apart that makes it so tight. It's just been all the experiences that I've learned, that she has brought into my life and that I had shared on her. And it's such a blessing for her to walk in her own light as well. So when I had those decisions were very crucial. And at the time when I, talked with my sister and my mother, then I decided to, lose the leg. Now, when you upon making that decision, the dream of, returning back to my mother's arms was soon met by financial nightmares in the wake of that decision. I had $100,000 worth in debt after coming out of the surgery and rehabilitation that was not covered by my insurance. Now, the interesting chronology to that story was just 9 weeks after the accident, I returned to work full time and school full time.
9 weeks?
9 weeks.
So you healed.
Between the surgery, from the time of the accident, through the surgeries, through the physical and occupational therapy, back to school was 9 weeks.
And
Now, were you on your way to a job too when you fell asleep, or were you coming from a job?
I was really doing too much in so little time. I basically had about a 18-hour workday between running a part-time business. I was going to work. I'd also finished 2 classes that day. So I did not return home until about 10 o'clock. I knew I had to make a reservation in Arcata, California at 6 p.m. the following day. So I left on the road to Modesto around 3:30 or 4 in the morning with only about 4 hours sleep after working so hard.
Wow. What did the doctors say? Did they say, this is a miracle? First of all, what did they tell you from onset? Did they discourage you and tell you you'll never be able to walk again? Because sometimes,
Well,
that
they did
happens.
a test. They did a test on the actual leg itself. They usually did a test of stroking the toes, which was to test the nerve
You need to get a
endings.
little closer, baby.
They did a test on basically stroking your toes, which was just testing the nerve endings. And so they tested all toes just by either taking a brush, a card, anything to that effect, and just seeing if I had sensitivity. What they were looking for was seeing if I could twitch the toes, if I could report a sensation, all of that. And basically, I only reported sensation in 2 of them, in 2 of the 5 toes. So basically, it was a determination that the nerves were severed and that they could not be repaired, and so it was inevitable for me to lose the leg.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So over the 9 weeks, how did the progression go?
So my life was in complete financial gridlock. I had low savings, no financial plan, no solution. And basically I was, at the time that I did return to school, that was near January of that was September of 93. But then leading into January of 94, my parents were starting divorce proceedings. So all the money that at one point in time they had used to help me supplement some of that $100,000 in debt, as well as to help me go to school, was now moved towards divorce proceedings. So I was literally on my own. And so basically I had to just devise my own strategies. I had to go online to look at scholarships. I had to just call people. I went around between a few scholarships and working full time. I just managed to self-finance my education. I just laid out a strict plan. I actually even choreographed what kind of courses to take in the remaining quarters that I had left, and then basically strategically, and financially just maneuvered my way and navigated safely through college without any debt.
Let's talk about those
Wow.
scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone out there that either for their children or themselves, any students out there that need to know, where do they search for scholarships that are really going to come through and be effective for them?
Let's address that problem. I mean, let me close my story of what was saying this. With the happy ending being that I graduated from Cal State LA, summa cum laude,
Cool.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Thank you.
And it sounds like a debt free, so you definitely know what you're talking about.
It was there's the drawback was, even though I received my bachelorette degree in my right hand, I filed bankruptcy 2 days later with my left.
Wow.
That was medical bankruptcy. So I didn't want that to happen with anyone else. And one of the scholarships that I received from church, one of the eye-opening moments in that time that in the course of me financing my education, was my church scholarship had received, was awarding scholarships to, students in their congregation. Now, that same scholarship that I received back at that time was able to pay for 1/4's worth of tuition at UCLA. Back then, that was $433 a quarter. Now, today, that same amount is paying for 1/3 of 1/4's worth of tuition.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So now at that time, so if I'm going to encourage students to go online today to look at scholarships, they're going to have to be first looking at what college they're going to. What are they have to look at their values and their skill sets first. And then knowing that they're also going to be influenced by their parents based upon, particularly if a parent went to a prestigious school and they want their son or daughter to go there, they basically have to look at those skills and interests that school offers to make sure what their values are really congruent with what that school offers. Then you have to look at the educational cost for that and seeing then for the career that you're moving to, how much of a percentage of that education eats into your income that you propose to make.
Wow.
So then when it comes to scholarship finding, I mean, not only do you use churches, but there are online resources now. Supposedly also high school, college career centers are supposed to be assisting students there as well. But there's only one counselor or maybe two for every 400 students in that particular class. So if you're saying, for example, a high school that has a senior class of 400 to 600 people, 600 students, there's only 2 counselors to service those students in senior year. So how much time is that student actually going to be able to get and sit down with that counselor to go through a research and look through online, offline?
Sure.
Parents also are working longer hours as well. So they don't have the time even at home nowadays to do their own research. And then on top of that, when you look at, you have a decline in household income, you have a decline in public funding going down. Now you're also looking at parents as saying to take the time at home to try to do their research and with their own financial educational background. And if that's little or anything whatsoever, they don't even know what an asset is. So when it comes to filling out a free application for federal student aid, everybody's filling that out incorrectly. A majority of the families are filling it out incorrectly, and they're not qualifying when they're very much capable of qualifying.
What are the biggest mistakes they're making on those forms?
One thing is not knowing what an asset is versus a liability. They're putting on, for example, let's say a 529 plan, which is just generally a college savings plan. They're listing that as, an asset onto, or putting that onto their financial aid forms when they really shouldn't. They're also putting mortgage values on those applications that would basically take them out of any qualification to receive financial aid. They're making just small mistakes based on income, based on listing of assets, based on the college, the students' projections for which universities they wish to go to. They're not doing the research as far as what those schools are able to contribute, financially versus what they would have to contribute out of pocket. And that's what throws them into problems.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, so is the kind of work that you do, because it sounds like when parents get together and they don't have a plan and they're trying to figure it out, you step in. But I would think that what you do also assists those who are that have kids that aren't quite ready yet, but they want to set it up to have a plan. And then you have that section of folk who, National Financial Literacy Campaign, it seemed like it would be something that applies to me, but I don't have anything that falls in category A or B. So with this financial literacy campaign, in detail, if you could give us, I guess, what would be your mission statement?
Let me put it simply this way. There are 6 human needs that everybody has that governs their decisions towards either being satisfied financially, relationships, or health-wise. Now, I'm going to give you the 6 human needs, and then you look at those 6 human needs and you put that over time. So the 6 human needs are going to be certainty. 2 is going to be variety and uncertainty. The 3rd is love and connection. The 4th is significance. And then the last 2, which are spiritual needs, are growth and contribution.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah.
I will. Certainty, variety and uncertainty, love and connection, significance, growth, and contribution.
So when someone calls you and they say, okay, I need help, this is pretty much the strategy that you are offering everyone in your business. And definitely before we finish the show, we're going to get your number, your email.
Sure.
I mean, for the audience so that they can reach out. And because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that really need to just get their finances together. I mean, we all do at some point. So
Stop living
that's
with
the
a
thing.
with a hole in
But
it.
you mentioned the spiritual and growth. And I guess that's the last step. And what was your spirit going through during the whole 9-week process and just, the outcome of what's happened since the accident? How did you deal with that spiritually?
2 questions. Who would I become? What do I want to contribute?
Wow, that's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 2 prominent destiny questions.
So you asked yourself that throughout that
Who would I become?
time that you were
And
healing.
are those the 2 questions that kept you motivated? Because you seem highly motivated individual. Like, I don't know if growing up in your household, if they were, if they passed on good financial planning type skills with, having you maybe in a junior achievement or savings, and taking you to the bank, or if it was something you acquired independent of what was going on in your house. And in spite of the accident, because a lot of people give up, they have talent, they have all of the foundational things, but what was it that kept you from giving up and motivated you and kept you, is desiring to become, and could you see this? Like, I just want to tap into that because I'm sure, like myself, it's like you get to a point and those challenges seem for the hopeless person out there. Like, look, I done filed bankruptcy X amount of time. I know Trump did it more times than me, but he already went in the game on a better footing than I ever did. And, I got all these mouths to feed. I'm in credit card debt because I was illiterate financially, and I put my own self in this hole that I dug. And I just feel like, I'll never see a way out of it. What would you say to that person who seems it's like totally impossible to recover?
So that's why the 6 human needs are important, because we have to see how did they lock themselves in the room of debt based upon those 6 needs. They have to find that we have to look at in their past and their present, what are the patterns and why did they, and look at how the decisions that they made, how were they driven by those 6 human needs, so that over time they could see the patterns that were revealed. And then what we do is once we see those patterns, then we start putting in replacement strategies that break those patterns and look at the lifestyle that they really want. Okay, so let me give you a quote by Albert Einstein. He said, "The significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them." So that means, so basically every time I sit down with a client, this is not about simply saying, have I got the product for you? This is basically asking the question, okay, who do you want to become? What do you wish to contribute? What do you want some things in your life a year from now where you want to really feel secure about your life being different, where you can honestly say, a year from now, I'm happy that my life is now different. Let's go, because even talking about 5-10 years from now, we've got society so based and so innovated with speeds of information flowing through back and forth between Twitter, we've got Facebook, we've got all the social media, that no one really takes the time to really have vision, which is one real key trait. When I look at the acronym of TIME, TIME, the T for me stands for take control of your money. And in order to do that, you really have to have vision. So when I sit down with a client, we're looking at a 1-year projection. And if that client can project it far out, we do a 5-year projection. But what is the life that they want? Because this is what I'm selling. I'm selling the life that they want to step into. And my job is then to create strategies that create that opportunity for them to step into it.
And that's awesome.
It's like you're part therapist, part financial planner, because it's like, with losing weight, you can't just get in the gym and eat right foods, because you got to tap into what is going on in you mentally that causes you, when you get on a roll, to go revert back. And usually it's your emotions, like comfort foods, or at that time of the month, I'm down with a pint of Haagen-Dazs because hey,
Exactly.
it was calling and I answered the call.
Yeah.
I haven't had that in a while. That's a great idea. Thank you for that.
I know,
visual.
Baskin
I am
Robbins.
going
Okay.
to get some Haagen-Dazs. So, okay, I love that. I want you, just even now, because I'm going to come back and do it again, give everyone your information now, and then we'll reiterate it later.
All right, let's start with an email address. All right, email address is jason.timmons, Timmon, as in Nancy S, at hife.org. Now, I need to briefly mention about HYPE, and let me give my phone number first, and I'll talk about the Heartland Institute of Financial Education. My phone number is 310-779-4083.
Wonderful. And if you guys want to call in at 323-473-3100. If you would like to talk to Jason directly, you can call in now. 323-473. If you have any questions, 3100 to Gospel Rhythms, LA Talk Live.
Now you didn't give the rest for time. You got to take control of your money, but there's an I am and an E. I'm just what's that about?
Okay, so let's finish that up then. Let me go to the M. Okay, first, let's go with the M. M is for make more money. Now, we are under a model currently where, in terms of even college education, we're looking at an education to be the passage into the new economy via a job. A job is no longer going to be the same way we can make money the way we used to. The incomes of today are 7% less now than they were 10 years ago for the same job. So students are literally investing twice as much money in education for a percentage less. All right. So therefore, we need to know how money really works. We need to look at other avenues and pathways on how money really works. So there are other rules to money to understand. How do you make money work for you? So there's a rule like the rule of 72, which is a rule based upon compound interest, that I'll go into in a later maybe for time, but people have to understand those specific rules. They also have to understand their needs in themselves so that they do not have money slipping in between the cracks. Okay, money that they spend on Starbucks. So let's say, for example, I'll give you a very prominent example. If I just talked with a single mother who spends $300, she has two daughters, who spends $300 for each one of them on their birthday. But she has no strategy for putting money aside for them towards college education.
Oh, wow.
So the question was, what's that need based on? What's that decision based on? So she is saying, I'm spending them because I want them to feel significant. It's significant. It satisfies a need of significance for her and for the children. But long-term wise, the question is, what's more significant for that child and for you? Knowing that education is just around the corner. It may be 8 years from now, but we know how fast time moves.
Yes, it does.
So we need to look at, let's evaluate how strong is that need for her being significant for her college education versus her birthday. And so thusly, if you're going to spend that much money on her birthday, why don't you invest that much first on her education and project and plan that out first, and then study. That way you don't have to look over your shoulder at that time
with the
for
woulda,
money to
coulda,
come through,
shouldas.
as opposed, and then follow with that birthday second. So it's not so much about dismissing it, it's prioritizing it. Okay, the E is for educate your expectations and explore the possibilities. And then I is the most important one. I am an investment and not an expense.
Here, let me take a picture of your notes.
last
I am
two.
an investment.
Yeah, let me repeat the last two. E is educate your expectations and explore the possibilities. And I stands for I am an investment and not an expense.
I am an investment and not an expense. Now,
My-
you mentioned social media,
Mhm.
and it didn't seem that you were too favorable, but I think you can find a way, people can, if they use their minds creatively, a way to turn this distraction of social media into a benefit for whatever business that you're doing or whatever it is that messages you're trying to put out or your purpose. I mean, do you agree with that, or what do you do? Because you've got to publicize what you do on social media.
I do, and then it's not that I use that often because my emphasis is really having connection. It's having connection with people directly. So I use Facebook and LinkedIn as more like a tool, as a means of just addressing what I do, who I am.
Okay.
But when it comes to really having to sit down and really meeting with someone, or actually, Lord, it's really having a one-on-one conversation, having them come to a meeting room where I'm scheduling forums and really teaching people. Also, actually inviting them. The Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn are also more extended invitations to come to like my financial center, where we hold workshops, and people can, for a one-time fee, they receive an unlimited supply of education. Unlimited education for the lifetime of that membership.
Do you mind telling us what that fee is?
Okay, so we're not like a monthly membership or an annual membership like Costco, and we're not like a monthly membership like LA Fitness. One-time fee of $100, which is basically covers 5 weeks of classes that are held twice a week. So you're looking at investing $10 for 2 hours for 5 weeks.
Okay.
You got to invest in yourself.
So you're investing in
and
yourself.
so you can write that off. I'm sure you can let them know.
That you can do. And then also for that, if you even happen to miss any of those through that 5 week those 5 week modules, you can always come back during that time and retake it. And that's not at no extra cost.
Can you talk to my 15-year-old daughter who goes to Starbucks every chance she can to get not the coffees but the other little drinks? Every time she gets $5 in her hand, she's like, "Mommy, I want to go to Starbucks. Take me to Starbucks." I'm like, the $5 is gone. Save. I keep trying to explain to her the importance of saving money.
Girl, you still ruling that house.
Save.
You like, oh yeah, obviously we're gonna go right here. Yeah, I'm gonna take you somewhere for that $5 and take us to the bank. You still can have Sadie. I'm having the last say. That's
Well,
what's gonna happen.
yeah, I can,
Yeah.
but I also want her to, I'm teaching her one, I'll say saving. She's like, "Mommy, I'm
Don't be
saving."
soft.
Or here's put the money aside for me, and I'll put it aside, and I'd say about a week later she's in it again.
Okay, so that's interesting you mentioned that, because there's one thing of teaching her or telling her, but deep down she's watching your patterns. And even more so, you are sort of pathologically passing patterns down, even when you're not saying anything.
So you
It's
telling
what
me I'm
you
not
do.
saving?
You
Jason?
pathological
Jason,
girl.
I'm not saving.
So when
So
I say
lead by
pathologies,
example. Is
it's,
that what you're saying?
well, no. So when it's like pathologies, it's understand that there are behaviors, there are patterns, practices that we are disseminating to our children about how we see money. If we tell them don't take money from strangers, eventually they grow up with, if they get into business and entrepreneurship, they have this fear about receiving money, about taking money. If they have, when they
I
have to
didn't get
give
that.
a
I
presentation.
didn't get that childhood memo.
Okay.
Hey,
So-
what you got some money?
So
I take money from anybody.
okay, so but they're given it's understanding though, going back to the 6 human needs, from those needs, what patterns had developed.
Okay.
And so we need to ask different questions in an effort to break those patterns or to see new
Well,
opportunities
role
for
play.
people to step
You're
into.
this is the daughter and you're the parent.
Role play.
Mommy, I want to go to Starbucks right now. Okay, please. You pass it by. Mommy, it's right there.
I
Can
want
you
to see
just
how
take me?
pathological you
Mommy,
not gonna be.
I got Tony gave Anthony. She calls him Anthony. Anthony gave me $20. Can I go on and just get a little? You want something? You want something, Mommy?
You know you love Slurpees. I'll pick you up something.
Okay, so a question may be, did you put any money away into your account this week?
Well, I was
What account?
going to do it. I was going to put some. I will after I get my drink from
And
Starbucks.
that's not what I asked. I asked, what did you put away this week?
Nothing.
Nothing.
So if one rule I would make is that, look, if you're going to spend money on a Slurpee, I would put what you spent on that, put something aside in a way on your savings account for that, or twice as much actually. Whatever you
so
spend on that server,
mean,
you got
mommy.
twice as much away from that. So that
It's
Slurpee's
a
$2.50.
discipline. It's a
My
It's a
mommy is
discipline.
it's about
mean.
$5 going into that. Well, that's that way,
No, he
because
daddy. Then that's when you go,
one of the
mommy.
things is, and a lot of times my sister would even vouch for this, was for her to be independent as well as interdependent.
Mhm.
And so one thing she had learned from me very early in the age was that Big Brother was not giving her money. And
Even if
so
she asked and was just
even
really
if she asked, she
because
knew
she didn't save.
it had to have purpose. It really had to
Okay.
have purpose.
Okay.
And in order for it was not, I did not disallow her from asking me, but what she had
Mhm.
asked me in terms of money had to have purpose. Otherwise, what I did for her was I got her a job. I had started her early to start looking. It's one
Mhm.
day she walked in, I'll never forget it. She was receiving an allowance, and she walked in one day and she told me, you know what, getting my allowance from my parents is just not enough. I remember driving in the car with her, and I said, welcome to my world. Looks like
Right.
it's time for you to get a
Get a
job.
job.
So,
Right. And
and
my
I,
daughter did
mhm.
just ask me about that. But they've changed the laws here.
They did.
You have to be 18. I don't know of any jobs right now where
McDonald's, not a
you have to
McDonald's.
be where you can be 15. But they've upped it, even for driving.
Yeah.
They've upped the age. And she's so distraught. She's
Wow.
like, I really want to work. I'm like, you can work right here around this house.
So that's a
But
great that's a
yeah,
great
she
that's a
does
great
want to.
awareness. And
Yeah.
so see these things that we have to recognize these shifts. They're different. The models of the world are changing right now to where making it more difficult for kids even who are coming up. Not to mention the kids that are in college right now or even out of college looking
Sure.
for career work. That's why a majority of the college kids right now are working as baristas and cashiers.
Right.
Okay, because there's just an emptiness about, as far as the targeted profession that they had desired to go into, that their degree was geared toward, the jobs are not there. Most of the corporations are hiring internally. So now you got that issue, and then you've got kids who want to work that
Right.
now can't find those jobs.
Yeah.
Because the business models are changing.
Right.
So how then we have to look at what are ways then that because the kids want to contribute, let alone become independent early, we have to look at some replacement strategies, replacement patterns where the kids can become fulfilled, learn about how money works, but then create their fulfillment, fulfill their needs, and be smart at the same time.
And gosh, I wish we had time for you to go into some of those things. But do you have children?
No,
No children?
no children.
Okay. I bet there's some adopted ones out there that have become close to you because of the wisdom you've imparted.
Absolutely.
Into
And then my cousins in San Jacinto are big influences right now. I have actually, I had helped one of my cousins, her mother, gave her a book on how to receive free money for college. She studied that book from cover to cover. Happily, she's going to SDSU. Her father was fortunately in the military, so that paid for her education, but she still had to pay for books and some other, extra amenities through which giving her that education about where to find the money. She wound up receiving millennial scholarships, and
Beautiful.
basically now her education's fully funded.
It's like
Yeah.
being educated, being persistent, and diligent and disciplined in the managing of the money that you get is really critical. Do you have a success story of someone who came and their situation was so ratchet that maybe you could share before we close that may encourage somebody? 6 kids and negative funds in the bank account. NSF, we all relate to that. On the NSF's just stalking them like an ex-boyfriend that's just can't say no. In terms of being able to be liberated and to be free financially.
Let me have two. Let me see if I can get these out really quick. This is actually as a positive, but then there's a negative in a little sense, but in a good way. Well, the first story I wanted to share was that there was one of our teammates. Basically, we had just finished signing on an account with a young teenager, just a freshman, who attended Cal State LA in her first year. She wanted to go to UCLA. She did not qualify for federal student aid because parents didn't file the application. Basically, so when we talked to the student, we've learned about her story as to why she decided to go to Cal State instead of UCLA. At Cal State LA, she was paying $7,000 a quarter for tuition. Okay, so after assessing her, we went down, sat down with the family, did a financial strategy, looked at all their liabilities, their assets. We looked at her numbers. We basically, through the Heartland Institute of Financial Education, then we got her signed on and worked with a coach privately. Turns out now a year later, she's going to UCLA, and she's going to UCLA paying $2,000 less than what the tuition that she was paying at Cal State, which was more, and so her out of pocket costs were reduced, and even more so because of the enrollment she has into the program. There's an annual renewal fee in which now we're continually to work with her and still receiving money for college. So we intend to break that down. There's the other story was I had a talk with a student just recently, 19, mother passed away a year ago. Basically, who was looking to get into college. His aunt was assisting him, but I sat down with this kid for 2 hours and learning about his situation. Very bright kid, but he was just didn't have that emotional drive. He didn't have a driving force behind it. So I was there with an intention of really sharing with him a program in which, okay, a coach can sit down with you, and between myself, the coach, and your aunt, we would be working with you. There's something about this kid where I learned, rather than to push a program on him, I really sat down and learned that he really didn't have time to get over his mother, to really to release that
to grieve
this the grievance through his mother, and then the needs that were taken from him as a result of losing his mother to breast cancer. And so it's really intricate to sit down to sometimes to actually have to push, let your program step aside, because then there's other needs that have to be fulfilled or accomplished before they can really be full-fledged and committed into a program and then get involved into college, into a field of study that they love.
Because you want to set them up to succeed. And
so, it's really important to set them up to succeed. Correct.
You obviously care. Some people, they do it because it's about the money and the dollars, and they're doing your line of work because they need to make money. They're not taking the time to care about someone's heart, because when it comes to grieving, you can't put a time on mourning.
Exactly.
It's a process, and every individual has their own process. So God bless that young man. How's he doing now?
We are staying in touch. The last time I talked to him, he's doing well, but I really was more so interested in talking with his aunt, because be it that he stays with her, his aunt is really, she's pressing on him to become successful, but she's impatient. And because, she's being an intelligent, African American woman, growing up in these, she's been through, let's say, the old school basically.
Sure.
But, in these times when you have African American women growing up, whether it's back in the day or in society today, they're hungry. And so, her temperament, she has a little room for error. So it's kind of talking to her to, respect her impatience, and at the same time use that in a way to, build, her nephew's confidence, and at the same point in time point her in a direction to seek grievance counseling. So he's enrolled into that, and what I promised to do, I gave him my number. We're going to stay in touch, and I look forward to monitoring his growth, and I can keep you informed after that.
Wow,
so you do have kids after all.
Yeah.
All the time.
Wow, high point,
wonderful.
certainty, variety, and uncertainty, love and communication, significance, growth, and contribution.
Yes.
Ask yourself, who do I become, and what do I want to contribute? And have vision. Time. It will take time, so you might as well have a vision.
And what does time stand for?
Time to take control of your dead presidents. Your money.
Okay, wow. Only bro.
I am an investment and not an expense. Make money, make money, and make it work.
Because
don't just make money. Don't have a purse with a hole in it.
Yeah, just don't make money. Make money work for you.
Make it work. Okay. And then E, educate your. What does it say? Educate and explore. Wait, hold on.
Educate your expectations.
Girl, if you can't read your writing, don't expect me to read that. I don't know what that chicken scratch. What is that?
I prepared this. Educate your expectations.
Okay.
And explore the possibilities.
That looks Greek. It really looks like some other language.
This is how I took notes in college. I'm surprised. I thought giving up a kidney and a spleen for college tuition back in the day of yesterday was a lot. But
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Do it a good time.
You know what I love? is that you start people off with short-term goals because they're already overwhelmed in debt. And so if you come to them talking about, okay, over the next 10 years, it's like,
Yeah.
wait
I
a
like
minute,
the year. We'll start off when we meet. We'll talk a year.
A year is a good thing. That's awesome. So some people start off with the 5 years, and that just seems overwhelming because you're just like, oh God, 5 years from now, I can't even think about it. I can even barely get through this month. So I am very proud of you for doing this, and I just pray that it's more successful. And I'm glad that, I'm glad you're healed.
Yes.
I think that's awesome that in 9 weeks your entire leg healed and that you were able to be a testimony to the doctors at the hospital.
Okay, let's make a correction. Didn't heal. I did have the leg amputated.
You did? So you're walking on
I'm walking on a prosthesis.
Wow. Well, you're walking good.
So,
see, that's the thing that's
walking up in here like, hey.
But that's the thing that really, it's like he had a tragedy happen in his life in the midst of him on his grind, and it just came to a halt. Like he could have just gave up. Like he remember he chose to die. He was like, you leg or no leg. I'll take leg out for 200. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you told them, okay, I'm just gonna die, and whatever that, which meant that
you kept
there
your
would
leg.
have been some poison or something. I don't know what would have happened. You said, I'm gonna keep the leg. So then, what did the doctor say? If you keep the leg, it's going to what? What's gonna happen?
It was. They couldn't. I would have to constantly keep it irrigated, and they would. And then in terms of removing some of the dead muscle tissue, they probably couldn't get all of it. Somehow at some point, the leg would have just got cancerous in some way. Septic, and then it would have killed me. Yeah.
So you went through rehab, 9 weeks of just getting used to. Did you get the prosthesis? Am I saying this right?
Yeah.
Did you get that immediately, or did it take a minute?
No, I think they train you, right?
Yeah, they train you. So when I returned to work and to school full time, I was on crutches. It took about another 8 weeks after that for a prosthesis to be designed, and then for me to actually learn how to walk in it.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different pattern now again of
living,
of living, let alone of learning my body. Because unconsciously, with having two legs, you're just thinking, hey.
Jump out of bed.
Motor skills, putting one foot in front of the other. Now, instead of legs being there, I had to use my abdominals to move. So,
wow. And what a blessing you could be to everyone else who has prosthesis.
Hey, let me just add this. This is a little tidbit y'all don't know about that. He is a trainer too. Okay,
that's what I thought. Yeah, you told
he's a trainer.
You didn't mention that.
You are a trainer
now.
We were talking about financial ed.
I'm just saying this is a part of the dynamic.
I'm talking physical trainer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So when you talk to people who have gone through what you've gone through, then you're more of a blessing to them and more of an encouragement. So that's awesome.
Yeah, financial education and personal training is they are synonymous. I mean, there are a lot of things to learn in both fields that can be integrated one way in one field versus the other. Patterns. Yeah.
All right, Jason.
Think about this. My decision. I just want to thank Ro because had I not made the decision to choose life,
you wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have shot a great film with her. So,
great
as
film.
a baby,
I need to see clips of this.
I'm gonna get the DVD. I'm actually excited. It should be in my house on the 26th. A hilarious
you were
girl.
just a toddler in diapers.
Had so much fun.
She said you babysat
I could
her.
talk as a toddler though. Shoot, I should have. My mama should have capitalized.
Oh my God. Okay, you guys. You know what? Thank you for joining us. I hope that you got a lot of great stuff here from Jason because he's really trying to help and educate. And make sure you do call him and email him at
jason.timmons@hife.org. Phone number 310-779-4083.
And I'm going to sign up, and then we'll have you back a year from now.
Okay, all right. No, the website is coming soon.
Yes.
Yeah. In
all
progress.
Right. Okay.
No, so I'm going to sign
I
up.
am on LinkedIn though.
Oh yeah,
LinkedIn.
Yes.
Go to LinkedIn.
LinkedIn under Jason Timmons or Jason Christopher. I am on LinkedIn.
Jason Timmons, Jason Christopher. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be one of those test models. Yeah, we'll meet and we'll do a year. We'll come back, have you in a year, and tell them where I was and where I'm at a year from now.
I know. Let's start right now. A year from now, you guys, Ro and I are going to definitely
Have
elevate.
Jason back.
Well,
Yeah.
trust me, Richard, we're going to elevate. I know
He's like,
he's
"Oh,
trying
you've
to
been
hold
here for
on.
6 years.
He's trying to
Don't let
believe.
us go, baby. We going places. We taking you with us.
Gospel Rhythms will go places. Okay,
It
you
is.
guys, thank you for joining us. We're actually going to end the show.
Yeah.
I'm Trisha Mann Grant.
I'm Ro Williams with Jason Christopher in the house. Thank you
We'll
so much.
See you next
Yeah.
Sunday.
Thank you, ladies.
4 o'clock, LA Talk Live.
Yeah, Life Edition.
Thank you.
Like Marvin Gaye. Can't you see what's going on? Through it all, gospel rhythm still going strong. Trusting God when it's good or when it's going wrong. Encourage other believers to keep holding on. Catching the vision and we making it plain. We the head, not the tail, so we won't complain. Here to lift up the downcast and the brokenhearted. Changing lives with the truth, so let's get it started. We got the word, music, entertainment, light. You can catch us on the air every Sunday night with special guests, the news, and interesting stories. A platform for the kingdom to give God the glory. Worldwide, and we live on the Ustream. What you know about the Gospel Rhythms magazine? But God's in it, you don't gotta chase dreams. You need to check us out and see what we mean.
Hey, it's Tammy Mack from KJLH's Mac Gonna Meet You show. And yes, I got a little God up in me. And when I get him in me, I go straight to Gospel Rhythms. Oh, I got heaven right here on earth. Heaven's party here on earth with Trisha Mann and Ro Williams. Yeah, listen in. GospelRhythms.com.
Hi, this is Oba Babatunde, and you're listening to GospelRhythms.com. Heaven's party here on earth.
Hey, this is Trisha Mann Grant.
And Tony Grant.
And you're listening to Gospel Rhythms Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com.
Ain't no way in the line. GospelRhythms.com. We make the word jam, the beat to which we live. We about to take the land. Let them know about Jesus, the anointed one. Gave us power and authority to get it done. He opens doors, so you don't gotta kick them down. I wrote this to remind you, so stick around. For heaven party here on earth. Praise God always, and we keeping them first.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and hosts of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.